Not only grease hitting me, I remember one time my coworker, we used to have to shake the tenders in the middle of cooking, and this dude hit me with the whole pan. And craziest of all, we had to ask to go to the bathroom. I ain't gonna lie though, this was a rule I never went for, bro. You're not gonna tell me if I could go to the bathroom or not. And quite honestly, bro, if you don't let me pee, I'm gonna pee on you. All right, so let's talk about fast food. Not eating fast food, because eating fast food at your big age is probably diabolical. Now I'm talking about working at a fast food place. I'm not gonna lie, if you work at a fast food place, you are probably at the lowest celebrated job in America. I feel like when you work at a fast food place, people see you like you are the bottom of the barrel. Mainly as an adult, I feel like we all see it as like, a good starter, a high school job. But if you working at fast food as an adult, all I can do is just say my prayers for you. Anyway, I worked at Raising Cane's when I was 16 years old. And to be honest, it wasn't a terrible job. It was horrible. If I could sum up the biggest lesson I learned from Raising Cane's, it was that I have to go to school, because there is no way in the world that I will be stuck doing something like this. Not even like fast food in general, like hard labor, anything that requires me to sweat or pick up on heavy stuff while I'm at work. No for me. Like I said, I started working at Cane's when I was like 16, and I was 16 in the middle of COVID. Now you're probably wondering, like, why would you go get a job in the midst of COVID to be around a whole bunch of people that you don't know? Well, the answer to that, my friend, is because my mom made me. The reason my mom made me go get a job is because I was just sitting at home all day, playing a game, screaming to the top of my lungs. Sometimes that probably not the most ideal times of the night. Anyway, one day this led to her busting in my room and basically yelling at me, "You gotta get a job. You don't do anything all day." I ain't gonna lie, at the time it low-key did make me feel upset, because I feel like she was low-key trying to call me a bum. I don't really feel like I was a bum. I guess I kind of was, though, now that I think about it. Anyway, I followed her advice. I filled out my application and ended up having an interview the next day, which honestly I should have viewed as the first red flag of this job, because what job reviews your application and you have an interview the next day? I am almost 100% certain that no job that is actually worth having will interview you literally the next day. That means they either have a high turnover rate, they literally hire anybody, or maybe they're just getting started or something. But in my case, it was because they hire anybody. Literally anybody. Of course, at the time, I didn't know this. 16-year-old me took this interview super seriously. I'm talking about I got dressed up. I got a polo, khakis, dress shoes. I even threw on the glasses for good measure so they could see that I was intelligent and serious about this position of frying chicken. Anyway, I go to my interview. I pretty much get hired on the spot. They ask me the same question that every manager asks you at every single interview. Why do you want to work here? Like, so you know why I want to work here. I need money. I'm broke. But of course, I didn't say that. I said, I really want to work here because I am so dedicated to frying chicken fingers. I really want to give every customer the greatest amount of satisfaction that I can, because it is just so important to me to give everyone good customer service and make sure that they are completely satisfied to their visit at Raising Cane's. And no, admittedly, I did not say that either. When I was asked this question, it actually went something like, I'm hardworking and I'm super good at time management. I promise that I will be on time for work at least 65% of the time. Yeah, I was hired on the spot, but it didn't really matter what I said, because they were going to hire me anyway. They didn't care. I don't think the manager was oblivious that nobody's super passionate about working at Raising Cane's. He hired me, and my next day was the following day. During this interview, we discussed our pay, and I'm from Louisiana and our minimum wage is $7.25. But of course, you know me, I wasn't going for no $7.25. I had to use my master negotiating skills so he could really pay me what I was worth. $7.75. Bro, I was literally making pennies on the dollar. But at the time, I didn't really care. $400. I don't even think it was $400. I think it was like $300. I remember my first check being like $400. I don't even think it was $400. I think it was like $300 and something. But boy, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was on top of the world, boy. I done made it on rich. Mama, we about to get out the hood and cop us a crib in Malibu, man. You gotta really think of the 16-year-old mind. There's literally nothing that $400 probably can't buy. You could buy the newest Jordans. You could probably buy a game or something. something that you want. For me, $400 was more than good enough. As long as I could put gas in my car to get to and from there and have enough extra money to order something from Wendy's on my break, I thought I was on top. When I first started, they didn't even have me like cooking or anything like that. They booted me right outside. Yes, Raising Cane's did outside order taking. And why did they do that? We never got really like a true answer. They said because it made the wait time faster, but honestly, I don't really believe that because it wasn't much of a difference between them ordering with us and ordering at the speaker. The workers' personal theory was that they were just trying to be like Chick-fil-A, but we were not equipped to be like Chick-fil-A. I didn't have a cover. I didn't have a fan. It was just me and my black butt in the hot 90-degree sun. Some people did give me tips. Then, you know, they'll leave me like $10, $5, just purely over feeling sad for me. The craziest part is, I remember when I first started doing that, they promised me that I was gonna only stay out there for like an hour. And they would leave me out there for like 4, 5 hours, bro. I was just baking. I was getting blacker and everything, bro. I literally looked like under the bed, bro. I was getting super black out there. It didn't just end with just summer, bro. I remember they put me out there literally in a rainstorm one time. They would put us there in freezing cold temperatures. Bro, they did not care. The only thing they cared about was them orders getting took. That's the only thing that was on their mind. To a fast food place, bro, anybody is disposable, bro. And if you can't get with what they doing, bro, you're out the door, bro. They don't care, bro. It's 10 people who they gonna hire tomorrow. Luckily, I was able to finally go back inside, but it didn't cool off for me because I ended up becoming a chicken specialist, meaning that I was over the fryer all day, every day. This is what I did for the majority of my time there. And if you know anything about Cane's, the tenders are fresh, never frozen. So you're not just like plopping stuff into grease. No, there's a art and skill to frying this chicken. You feel me? You gotta hit them with the You feel me? Like you feel me? Like I can even hit it with the one hand. You feel me? That's actually how I used to do it. I used to literally have to take the raw chicken, put it in between my fingers, and that was only just so the grease didn't pop up and hit you, because that was literally like some of the worst pain I've felt in my life. I've literally had thoughts of quitting just from grease hitting me. Not only grease hitting me, I remember one time my coworker, we used to have to shake the tenders in the middle of cooking, and this dude hit me with the whole pan. He left like a scar on my arm. I don't think it's like there anymore, but the loud scream I let off when that happened will probably be remembered in that Cane's for years to come. The craziest part about a job like fast food is that I feel like they treat you like a child. I remember like we used to not be able to get on our phones. We used to have to lock our phones. We couldn't talk to each other that much. And craziest of all, we had to ask to go to the bathroom. Obviously, I was still underage when I worked there, but yes, there was grown people having to ask to go to the bathroom. I ain't gonna lie though, this was a rule I never went for, bro. You are not gonna tell me if I could go to the bathroom or not. And quite honestly, bruh, if you don't let me pee, I'm gonna pee on you. Another bad part about it is obviously the pay. Now, I started working there when I was 16, but I quit working there when I was 18. And by that time, like most 17-year-olds do, I fell into the trap of wanting a Charger, Challenger, or some type of ridiculous sports car that we don't need at the time. So I was trying to run them hours, my boy. But like I told you earlier, I didn't really make any bread, bro. Even if I worked buku hours, I was not making that much bread. I remember there was this one time, I probably worked like 10 days out of 14. And I wasn't just working like regular shifts during this time period. I would come in at like 7 in the morning and not leave till like 10 at night. And do y'all know what my check was? It was a whopping $700. I worked almost 100 hours for $700. Now, of course, again, it's all relative to time and experience. So at the time, I thought that was a lot of bread. But now, having worked in a hospital, obviously having a more higher paying and better job in general, working that much for $700 seems insane. Bro, I'm so glad I got out of there, but bro, there's a lot of people who really never leave. Now, the people who start off as like, you know, regular fry cooks, cashiers and all that stuff, and they get promoted to like manager, OMGMs, I actually feel like that's pretty cool because they make pretty decent money. They actually do really well for themselves. But the people who have been like 10-year fry cooks and cashiers, I feel super bad for them. And I know some of y'all probably like, nobody stays there that long. Yes, they do. I know this one lady who literally had worked there for 20 years. And no, she was not a manager. She was not any special title. She was still just a cashier. Overall, the takeaway from this video, working at fast food, It's not very fun. It's not a very enjoyable experience, but I do feel like it teaches you a lot of lessons if you choose to take it that way. Honestly, I feel like it made me grind harder in a lot of different places because I knew it just wasn't where I wanted to end up in life. And honestly, even if you don't come up off of something or something doesn't go your way, if you learn a lesson from it, I still think it's probably a good thing to have experience in life. Anyway, if you're working at fast food now, keep your head up, brother. I know it probably sucks, but hey, you're gonna get out of there one day, homie. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.